Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So for today's video, we're going to be doing another makeup dilemmas where I solve your makeup problems or answer your makeup questions. If you're not following me already, please go and follow me over on my Instagram because this is where you get your opportunity to ask these questions. Every now and then when I'm getting ready to do one of these videos, I'll pop a question box in my stories and you can add all your questions in there, your burning questions that you need my help with, and hopefully between myself and the rest of you guys in the comment section, we can hopefully throw some suggestions or some tips and advice your way. So without further ado, let's get started. So I just wanted to say that a few of the questions that people asked on my stories this time had been previously answered in the first couple of these videos that I did. So if I didn't answer your question, it's maybe because I've already answered it in a previous makeup dilemmas, or because a few of them I have video coming up soon or probably before this one goes up where I'm answering that question. So that might be why if I didn't choose your question, but I tried to choose the ones I feel I can help with the most or the most commonly asked questions. So I'm really sorry if I didn't answer your question, but I just answer as many as I can. Okay, so Nadia, I love you too. Thank you so much for your question. Tips for exfoliating lips so they don't dry even more with lipstick on. So I love an exfoliating lip product. I love exfoliation in general, love it, live for it. I use the MAC lip exfoliator and I use it twice a day, every day without fail. In the morning as part of my skincare routine, I use the MAC lip scrub and then I'll put some Lanolips, the original ointment, on like while I'm doing my makeup, and then lipstick goes on top of that, just a very thin layer. And at night again, scrub the lips at night as part of my evening skincare, and again then a thick layer of Lanolips 101 while I get some shut eye. So yeah, I exfoliate twice a day with my lips. My favourite exfoliator is the MAC one. That keeps my lips nicely exfoliated. My lips are never bare. If I don't have lipstick on, I have lip balm on. I think that it's important to have something on your lips, particularly in the winter, because it's harsh out there. Okay, the heating, the cold air outside, the weather, the wind, it's harsh on our lips, so I don't like to leave them exposed. I like to have something on them at all times, but that's kind of my big tip is the MAC Lip Scrubtious, twice a day, every day, keep the lips scrubbilicious. So next up, Joanna, this is Joanna's question, but this was asked by several of you, and this is how to choose blush and lipstick to go with different eye looks, or how to combine different colours as far as eyes, lips and cheeks. So I have a few different tips here. First is colour families always go well together, keeping it simple. So today I used the Fire Rose palette on my eyes, so it's quite a pinky leaning eyeshadow. So then I used a pinky blush, and my lipstick is also like a pinky family, although it's a bit deeper. So I think you can't go wrong with like colour families. You know, if you're going for a peachy eye look, peachy cheeks, peachy lips, are all going to work beautifully, and that's very easy, and keeping it very simple without having to think too much about it. I'll also say that if you're going for a neutral eye, then you can't go wrong. You know, that's what, if I'm going for an understated neutral eye look using something like Natasha Denona's Bieber, then go for a bright lip. Any colour will work, because what I think is sometimes a bit too much, or you might find it doesn't work or it clashes. If you've got a pop of colour on your eyes that's maybe it's pink or it's green, and then you go for an orange lip and then a plum cheek, it's a lot going on. And if that's your jam, you can do whatever you want. That's the first thing to note. If you want all of the colours, do all of the colours. Whatever you want is fine in this house. This is a safe space. You do whatever you like. Play. It should be fun. Don't worry about what the rules are. Just do what you like and do what you want and use what you want to use. But if you're wanting things to go together and it to be a look that's cohesive and nothing is kind of fighting with each other, then I feel like one of those areas needs to be neutral at least. So you could have a neutral blush and then a pop of colour on the lips, or if you've got a lot of colour on your eyes, then either match that colour on lips and cheeks or just keep the rest neutral. So if you've got a neutral lip and you use a neutral blush, and you can go full colour on the eyes. It's a bit like the old boobs or legs rule, which doesn't really apply, not really a thing now. But now it's like eyes, lips or cheeks, as opposed to boobs or legs. That's a similar vibe. But like I always say, if you've got it, get it out. I am roasting today. It's actually quite warm and I've got my biggest jumper on, so that was an error. West DJ says, you have mentioned foundation sometimes gives you issues on your chin. Help. Not really my chin. I feel like my problem zone when it comes to foundation is what I refer to as the muzzle zone. This area is like where my aging is showing the most. So I have lines on my top lip texture there. Obviously smile lines are deeper than they were. There's lines like or texture on my chin. So if a foundation is like not working for me, that's the area where generally it doesn't look the best. It just is enhancing texture, or it just is soaking into all of those lines or exaggerating them. And also my chin is generally where I lose foundation like the soonest throughout the day. So that might be what you're talking about. So the first thing is like, I don't, if I'm, you know, I test a lot of foundations. If one doesn't look nice in that area, it doesn't get used again. 2, skincare is key. Exfoliation, retinols, those type of products to improve texture and lines, things like that. Prep. You know, I love my Tatcha primers, making sure that you've got a good primer, and I always go over that area with smoothing primer to make sure that you've got something to stop your foundations just soaking right up in all of those areas. And depending on your skin type, setting with powder as well to make sure that throughout the day nothing's migrating in there. Those are kind of all my top tips for dealing with the muzzle zone. Sasha asks, why has my Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow hard panned? Did I do something wrong? Interesting. I mean, I don't know if you did. Did you? What did you do? Did you do something wrong? Did you? Here's a few things that you may have done unknowingly. You may have committed one of these sins, or not sins, but things that can create hard pan. Hard pan, generally, to my understanding, is often caused by oils getting into the product. So if you put your fingers in there, that can create it. So if you're someone who uses a finger to apply shimmers, then oils are going to get into the pan over time. That can create hard pan. Also brushes, you know, if you have oilier lids or just non-oily lids and you're using brushes and not washing them very often, or just wiping them off on a cloth like I do. I use my Sonia G cloth to clean my brushes every time I use them. And then, you know, there's oil on the brushes from your skin. And then again, that brush is going in and out of the pan, and that can create hard pan as well. Or it could just be that it could just be that the product has expired over time. That can happen as well. So it just depends. If you're doing those things, that may be why. But there are solutions, very easy solutions to hard pan. If you get a piece of sellotape, I think, do you guys call it Scotch tape or something else? Sellotape, sticky tape, if you will, and rub it gently on the top of your hard pan. Good as new. You heard it here first. You probably didn't. You probably only knew, but you maybe heard it here, 21st, I don't know. Gaza, I believe, I don't know, because your name is all in one, so I'm not sure which is your first and last name, so forgive me. Will you review Kylie Cosmetics? I don't know is the answer. So I don't tend to review products that have been out or around or already have a huge number of existing reviews. Like, that's just not, I don't really like to review stuff that's been reviewed a million times before. I like to be first, or I like to be at least in the first week doing reviews. I don't really enjoy doing sort of old reviews or reviews of products that are not new. They don't do well, and I'm just not excited to review sort of older products. But obviously Kylie Cosmetics is new here to the UK, so if new products come out, I'm open to reviewing the brand. It's not one that's massively appealed to me in the past, but I am open to it. If products come out that I'm interested to pick up, I certainly would review them. There's nothing stopping me. It's just at the moment, obviously it's come here very, very late. We've all seen all of the products at this point. They've all been reviewed a million times. So I'm not planning to review products that have been out for a long period of time, but new ones, I'm open to it. So Reem Nashi asks, how do you apply eyeliner to the waterline so it doesn't wear off too quickly? So number one is have a very good eyeliner. That's number one, because I feel like there is a big difference between a good and a great eyeliner and a useless one. So I would definitely invest in a very good long wearing eyeliner, something like the Milk Makeup, the Marc Jacobs ones. Those are the two that I find the longest wearing. You can also set your waterline. This is something I learned fairly recently. I can't remember from whom, but that is something that lots of people do, set the waterline. My waterline liners last as long as I want them to, and they last very, very well. But again, it's depending on your skin type of makeup you're using, your type of day, all of that stuff, things will perform differently on you. But yeah, if your waterline is disappearing very, very quickly, you can set it with a very diddly little brush and a small amount of powder, and be very careful. You can set that area as well like you would anywhere else. So that might be something worth trying. Anne asks ABH or Natasha Denona. Now I'm assuming we're talking about eyeshadow here, because obviously, I don't know, depending on the product, I guess would depend on the answer. But as far as eyeshadow concerned, there's no contest for me. It's Natasha Denona all the way. Natasha Denona eyeshadows are definitely, in my opinion, superior quality-wise, performance-wise to ABH, but you know, that's just my opinion. Reem asks, where can you start learning how to do a very basic makeup look? For example, a simple smoky eye. So, I mean, I learned everything I know on YouTube. I'm not an expert. I never studied makeup. I'm not a professional. I haven't practiced. I've never done anybody else's makeup other than a couple of my friends and my sister, my mum, things like that. But yeah, I'm not a makeup artist. I definitely learn, and I'm still learning a lot here on YouTube. There are incredible teachers here on YouTube. Back in the day, I learned a lot from Jaclyn Hill, Desi Perkins. I've learned a lot more recently from Wayne Goss, from Robert Welsh. I also recently discovered Smitha Deepak is just incredible. She has tons of videos. Almost all of them are teaching videos, and I think a lot of them as well are perfect for beginners, perfect for mature skin, things like hooded eye tutorials. She also does a lot of videos aimed at making things easier and simple and straightforward, and not overwhelming us with like 100 steps. So that, I would check out her channel 100%. You can learn everything you need to know from her. She's amazing. So Shelley asks, I would love tips just to improve makeup. I have highlighters and no idea how to use. Again, I would just watch tutorials, watch as many tutorials and practice. One of the things that I used to be useless at, or two of the things I used to be useless at, one, brows, and two, eyeliner. And I just kept on doing it. I kind of used to avoid doing them because I didn't do them well. So I just didn't do them. But I wanted to be able to do them well, and I wanted to be able to wear eyeliner and, you know, do a winged liner. So I just used to force myself, and I just thought, when I have time, every time I do my makeup, I do those things. Makeup is like, if you're not particularly skilled or talented, then practice will absolutely make all of the difference. Just practice and practice. Play with makeup, play with different brushes, different techniques, watch loads of videos, and it will make a huge difference. Practice is number one. Lisa Eldridge versus Christian Audette lipstick. So, I mean, Lisa Eldridge for me, wearing a Lisa Eldridge lipstick as we speak, in fact, but for me, Lisa, both her mattes and her Luxuriously Lucents are like it for me. I think she has the best lipstick formulas out there. And yeah, so Lisa versus anyone, the answer is Lisa. So Mylenita says, what do you think about Burberry makeup? Never hear anyone talk about them. I've tried a highlighter from Burberry, which was nice formula, but the shade was just too light for me, so I don't use it often. And then I've also tried a lipstick. Both of the products were decent, they were nice, but honestly, I feel like Burberry, it just is, I haven't in any way in my mind committed to not purchasing from them. I just don't see anything that tickles my pickle. I feel like their palettes don't appeal to me visually. The whole flat pan, the shapes of the pans, nothing. I feel like they're struggling to kind of make themselves known and make themselves seen, because I just don't know that their products are doing it for lots of people. So they're not getting used a lot, picked up a lot. I think they need to reevaluate, because at the moment I don't think it's very exciting, and I just don't feel excited to pick anything up. That's kind of why I haven't tried a lot from them. There's nothing there, and it is expensive products. So, you know, you want to be excited to try them. And for me, they're just not exciting me. I don't know why. So Lady Manelli asks, what what creams or exfoliators do you use for underarms, inner thighs, etc.? So for me, as far as body, I love the Cerave SA Smoothing Cream. That's like my favorite moisturizer. Unless I'm like on a night out, I tend to use fragranced body creams, but for my day-to-day like moisturizer, that one is brilliant for getting, you know, if you have bumps or rough skin, that one's fantastic. As far as like exfoliation, I'm just all for like a good scrubbing in the shower. I just like love a scrub. I don't really use an exfoliator on my body, but I do use like scrubbing gloves and just anything I can find really that scrubs. I love a good scrub-a-dub in the tub, if you will. Lisa, very good question from Lisa. Have you found a replacement for the Umberto Gianni Supermodel Shape? So this is a product I talked about donkeys years ago. Lisa, you must be for sure an OG, because this was, I remember this video and it was a long while ago. So yeah, I still actually have an old bottle of that, but for me, so this product, I think it was just a product that's discontinued. It's very hard to find anyway. Maybe it was discontinued. But yeah, for me, I use now, as far as like a styling spray, but like before I blow dry or before I do my hair, I use the L'Oreal Ply spray. I just find that a really, really good holding spray. I also really like the Ouai volumizing hairspray for using after to like give you a load of volume and keep your hair in shape. But yeah, I haven't really found anything that's the same, but I kind of have changed a lot of my products and even the way that I do my hair. So yeah, those are kind of my favorite products nowadays. I also like the GHD Curl Hold Spray, which also has heat protector in it. So those are kind of my favorite styling products these days. Jar Bennett 58, how to get the same eye look from left eye to right eye. I'm left-handed. Oh, I'm not left-handed. She's left-handed. I'm not. I'm right-handed. Jar Bennett is left-handed, is what we're saying. Sorry for the confusion. So I think for me, it's about, I mean, obviously, I guess it's the same thing whether you're left-handed or right-handed. Maybe you have a trickier eye. I think one, having a big mirror straight in front of you, good lighting and a magnifying mirror. I have a very, very large mirror with a smaller, like magnifying one that's attached. Does that make any sense? And I use the magnified one for my eyes, so I don't have to get right in there. I can stay sat and I can see a really good close up, both eyes at the same time. And I do each step on both eyes. I don't know if that's going to help you. Maybe that's worth trying. I know some people will do like the whole of one eye and then the whole of another eye, but I go back and forth. So I'll do my crease step, my blending, my deepening, and I go back and forth from each eye. So you can spend time on each step making them look the same. But again, it's one of these things that it's depending on your eyes. Maybe your eyes aren't exactly symmetrical and that could cause more problems. One's more hooded than the other. That may cause more problems. I'd say this is one of those problems that I wouldn't worry too much about. That's probably ultimately the solution. Not one single person is ever going to look at you and say, your eyeshadow is not completely exactly even on both sides. I don't think anyone's ever going to notice that. So one, I would not ever worry about it. And two, just, you know, going back and forth and doing each step at the same time on your eye, not at the same time with two hands, you understand. I mean, you do it on this eye and then you do it on that eye. That would be, I mean, very impressive if you can do that. Maybe that's the answer. Lindsay has a very topical question. Foundation/concealer sampling during COVID times. What do we do? Help. So this is a tricky one to answer for a few reasons. One, I don't know where you're based. So obviously everywhere has different rules at the moment, depending on what country you're in. And also different shops have different rules. So it's hard to know what the rules are in your area. I'm not even really sure what the rules are in my area, to be honest, because I don't really go shopping. I do all my shopping online. I mean, number one is asking the people behind the till, because I think at the moment lots of products aren't out. So you're not allowed to touch things yourself. But if you ask the people in the shop or behind the counter, they can do it for you. Actually, that is what I bought a lipstick, I remember, right in the middle of all this madness. And the lady, I was not allowed, none of the lipsticks were out. I was not allowed to swatch them myself, but she was allowed to swatch them on her and sanitize everything herself. So I could see it on her, if that made sense. So I would ask that. Never any harm in asking. what can I do? I want to try this foundation. Can you shade match me? How do we go about that? Things like that. That may be a thing to do, even if you take in your own pot, because they might not have pots that maybe they're not allowed to do that anymore. But if you took your own pot, could they put a little bit in this sample pot for you? That's maybe an idea to do. But yeah, I think, I mean, as far as swatching and just going absolutely nuts in the swatching section like we used to, I don't know if those times are coming back, to be honest. Like, times have changed. So Beauty Extrovert asked, how close to the lower lash line do you bring your concealer? So I bring it right up there. I bring it all the way. I do have a bit of redness and discoloration right on my lower lash line. So I bring my concealer right up to my lower lash line, but I don't like a lot of, I put all my concealer right in the corner because that's where I need to cover, and then I blend it up. So I don't ever place concealer like under my lash line. I place it here and then blend there. But yeah, mine comes all the way up because I have discoloration that I want to cover there. But if you have problems there, or you find it's exaggerating lines and things, you don't have to. It's about blending. It's about using as little as possible in those problem areas and just putting the concealer where you need it, right on your discoloration, and then the rest should be a very minimal amount, like the least amount in those lines, the better. So I think that's about all we've got time for today for this Makeup Dilemmas episode. I hope you found this helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye, 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 bye.